Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to show you my zine collection. If I collect anything, I guess this would be it. I've added one new one this year, and I'll probably do one a year for the coming years. I really enjoy this type of format for a variety of reasons. I have what I consider to be sort of art zines, and then I have some that are more informational with art. Zines have a really long standing history, and they sort of come from short magazine or fan zine, and these are sort of just self-published pieces of original text and images. And originally these were produced by copy machines, and as you can see from what I am currently showing you, people have gotten very, very creative with the format, with the subject matter, and I have such a unique variety. I just wanted to share them with you today. If you want to read more about the history and delve into sort of where these came from, I will link some information. There were like pamphlets and things that are said to have led to zines, and like sort of during the Harlem Renaissance in the 1930s and 1960s, they were very science fiction based. In the 1970s, sort of punk rock music and zines were super popular. And then the 1990s, sort of the Riot Girl and some of those topics. So I'm going to show you one at a time what I have, where I got it, who created it, and why I enjoy it. I'm going to start with Bocal magazines. Now these I purchased from Kickstarter. I have two different versions. This one has two pieces to it. This one I picked up in 2018. This one I picked up in 2021. And these are by Aya, which is sort of a group of two people. Enna Yimle and Alfred Lupus put these together, and their Kickstarter is like a batch of 100. But they also sell on Etsy, and I will link everything for all of these down below. I was able to find where to buy these if you are interested in something similar. And these ship from England in the United Kingdom. So let me show you the first one. And these are super fun because they're like riddles, short stories. There's games within these. And the illustrations, this one you can really see the spine from a lot of wear and tear. But it's just such a creative format, such an interesting illustration style of people, and including sort of riddles and puzzles. Let me show you up close. Okay, you can see the very fine, it's like fine liner pen and ink illustration of these unique puzzles in this format. It's just so beautiful. I really, really enjoy unique pen and ink illustrations. I just really, really enjoy that style. This is such a unique style to me. This is not a style I create in, so I really appreciate others who do. Let me zoom out so you can see more. As you can see, they're just really fun games. This is sort of medieval themed. I just think this is incredible. And to me, something like this in a style I don't create in, with themes I never use, is so inspiring and motivating. So this is the first one, number 1. I also have number 4. There is a 2 and a 3, there are more. And this one has color. And it's a limited color palette. It is reds, oranges, and greens. And it's just this really unique story, this puzzles and games. It's just absolutely unlike anything I've ever seen, unlike anything I own. I had to purchase them, and I just really wanted to share them with you. Obviously, I've been sitting on these for a while, but I thought, you know, there are so many different things out there that can motivate and inspire us to to try new things, to limit colored palettes in unique ways and subject matter, and combining things of interest. Do you enjoy medieval games in complementary colors? That's such a unique combination. Let me show you the other book that came with this one. And obviously this is a landscape horizontal format. And they have a couple Instagram accounts. I will link those if you want to see what they are currently working on. That's where they announce their Kickstarters. It's just absolutely beautiful and completely unique. Aren't those amazing? The next one I want to share is by Angela Rizza Illustration. And these are also from Etsy. Again, these are very heavy art zines. And she is out of New York in the United States. And this is the Avian Curiosities zine. It says right here. And I also have her Raven zine right here. And I will zoom in on these. Again, birds as a subject matter. I absolutely love to draw them. Her color, look, the way she fills a page with her illustrations is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. These could be prints, these could be wallpaper, these could be absolutely anything. They are so beautiful. Let's zoom in. This illustration style and the use of color is so incredibly beautiful. Here is an owl page with a moth. It just reminds me to add more, to fill the page, to appreciate filled pages, and to not be afraid of color. So I had to own these because of what they remind me to do. They remind me to appreciate the whole page. It's just so, so beautiful and rich in color. Let me show you the Raven zine. And this one's on a different style of paper. All of these are staple bound that I've showed you so far. I only have one that isn't. Isn't this absolutely incredible? Just beautiful. There's 5 birds here, there's mushrooms, there's flowers. It's just a completely filled page with rich, beautiful color. It's just gorgeous. I'm not going to show you the entire thing, but these are on Etsy if you are interested. And these are so inspiring to me. I want to talk about this one because it is very unique for 2 reasons. One, it is spirally bound. There's sort of a pearlescent white spiral here. And because this is a risograph printing, sometimes it's called riso printing. So this sort of took flight in the mid-1980s. There is a press, Kunst Press from the Netherlands, began printing, riso printing, and then in Tokyo, Japan in the mid-80s, the Riso Kagaku Corporation invented digital duplicators. So what that means is this is sort of a modern day mimeograph or stencil printer. And to get this unique texture, let me show you. To get this sort of modulated, sort of finely stippled looking texture, this is created when, so a stencil is laid onto a drum filled with ink, and then it speeds at a very high movement, forcing the ink through the stencil onto the paper. So every single one you go to print is going to be unique. There is no CMYK, it's not cyan, magenta, yellow, black. So your color options for printing on riso are infinite. It's very unpredictable, so you kind of have to embrace imperfection, and you'll see what I mean when I open this up. And because you notice this is a very bright pink, this is not archival, so this is not something you want to leave in the sun. This is something I put in my cabinet that has glass doors. It is protected because I want to sort of protect this. Let me show you. So this is the Drag Race Fantasy Cast by Sarula Bao, and she is from, let's see, where is she from? She's from New York in the United States. I purchased this through Ooga Booga, which is in Los Angeles, California in the United States. And these are her imaginary drag race figures. As you can see, there's kind of lines, there's imperfections within the printing. And then there's a little synopsis of this individual if they were on the show Drag Race. Now, I don't watch the show. I have immense respect for RuPaul, but I'm just not into huge amounts of drama. But this zine right here reminds me to have fun. It reminds me that form and shape, like, know the rules of figure drawing so you can break them, and then break them well. This is absolutely beautiful. Her work just is incredible. She did a cover for the New York Times. I will throw that up so you can see she is being appreciated for the immense work that she does. She has another one that's out of print I would love to own, but it's just so inspiring. Nightshade starts out with a villain edit but ends up getting manipulated by production to talk about her inner saboteur. Extremely confrontational and will go toe-to-toe with Rue, has a legendary fight with another contestant that gets memed to death. It's just hilarious. And the shape, let me zoom in. When you look at the elements of design, shape, line, form, repetition, color, this is a very limited color palette of blue and hot pink, and it makes these really rich purples. I mean, look at those shoes. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at this one. How fun is this? Absolutely wild. The foreshortening, I'm just so here for it. Absolutely beautiful. I will zoom back out so you can see. Just love the shape you're in. Create different shapes. Bodies don't all have to be little tiny thin stick figures. They can be rich, they can be beautiful, they can be voluptuous. It just reminds me to branch out and not go with everything, I think. And I just love how certain elements come toward the page more with the larger size, and then the other ones recede. Everything about this and how she does people is just absolutely incredible. I will link her website. I don't think she kind of sold out on everything, but she has a webpage and she's also on Instagram. Here is probably my most traditional looking zine. This is part of a series of 3 called Wild Seed. This is purchased from Microcosm Publishing. They are out of Portland, Oregon. This particular zine and the other 2 in this series, Wild Seed number 1 and Wild Seed number 3, can be purchased in many different places online. I think there may even be digital versions on Amazon, but I would highly, highly encourage to go through some of these small printers that print these, just because it's such a great way to encourage them to produce more publications that are specialty, that voice things that we can't always get that information. Now this one, number 2, is Herbal Remedies for Lifelong Reproductive Care. Number 1 in this series is called Get Your Laws Off My Uterus. And number 3 in the series is called Safe Spaces, Self-Care, Distraction, Relaxation Techniques. So I only own number 2. And this is just herbal self-care for reproduction. I suffer from infertility issues, and because of that, having things that are resources specific to me that could help me are just worth their weight in gold. And that is sort of the original premise behind zines, is publications getting out information that you wouldn't be able to find elsewhere. So there are little doodles, little illustrations, there are recipes, there are places where you can purchase stuff, and this is all for reproductive. This is all for folks that want to take care of their reproductive system as it pertains to the uterus and things like that. So I really appreciate that. This series is done by a woman by the name of, I think it might be on Rachel Blanton. This is from 2014. This is a classic in my eyes. I just think it's very, very important that some of these information and issues and very specific things are encouraged to be produced and are available for purchase for folks that need them. It's a great way to get out information that isn't just wildly covered everywhere. So I love this. I love this one so much. Here are some of the illustrations up close. Black cohosh. It's great for a lot of different uses herbally. And this is what the plant looks like. I appreciate the doodles. They reinforce the information. They all assist. Just simple line art that accompanies very important information. And from a drawing standpoint, it's fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this one. The last one I want to talk about is the one I purchased this year. So I purchased this off Etsy, but I know they also sell through Brown Recluse, Zine Distro. I will link that site as well. That has great zines from different creators of different ethnicities and nationalities. That's more inclusive. This is the Black Non-Binary Archive. This is actually an interview between Golden Lionheart, who does the interview, and this one right here, this individual. Their name is Tammy, and they are Nigerian. They live in the United States. They're from the US, and they're from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. And this is just an incredible, important piece of information. So this interview between these two individuals talks about self, about identity, about being non-binary. It is a voice of the non-binary people that are Black. So to try and describe the importance of something like this, I can't do it very well. I'm going to try, but it's these voices that we need to read. This is obviously not my voice. This is not my life experience in any way, shape, or form, which I think is why it's so important that I read things like this, why it's so important that I understand these stories. Nigeria, I will throw up a map of Africa. It's on the west coast. They've been colonized a couple times. Portugal came in before Britain did, and that shaped the country. As of today, there are 54 recognized countries by the United Nations in Africa, and historically only 2 of them have never been colonized. That's Ethiopia and Liberia. And it's important to note these things. It's important to learn about Africa, Africa's history, all these different countries and their history, and how that shapes the people, the trickle-down effect of colonization, and how even Nigerians write about their history. They still sometimes do it in Western ways. So I really, really appreciate this zine. It obviously has, here is the Black population. You can see it's predominantly on the East Coast. There's really clear graphs. The images are absolutely stunning. The color choices are bright and cheerful and uplifting, and really sort of reinforce hope and joy and finding oneself. It's reds and oranges, and it's absolutely beautiful. Even the text becomes sort of illustrative elements. This is such a design success for me looking at this. I mean, the subject matter alone is absolutely beautiful and important and enriching. As an illustrator and designer, everything about this is beautiful. There's sort of that superimposed text over imagery that highlights the important quotes from this interview. There's even space to write your own portion if you want. What is emerging for you so far? There is a space for you as well. And that's an important message in stories like this, in interviews like this. This is so important for Black non-binary folks to find other people in that space, living their life, discovering how they came to identify and how important that is to them and their process and their life and their journey. This is so, so important. I'm out of like words that mean important to express how important this is. I can't imagine what it would be to be Black and non-binary and feel like alone in that journey. And these sort of, right now they're doing individual interviews per zine. I think there may in the past have been some anthologies that had multiple stories, but this is something that would definitely benefit from being like in a zine library where not just me gets to enjoy this. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to this for a couple years till I can get every ounce of love and just appreciation and understanding from it, and then I'm going to pass it on. There are libraries and zine libraries, Barnard College Library, the University of Iowa Special Collections, the Tate Museum even has some, Harvard University, Los Angeles Public Library, San Francisco Public Library, Jacksonville Public Library. I may send this to San Francisco's Public Library. More people need to see this. This is something that if I had access to a zine library, I would check out and read every single one in this archive. I love reading interviews. They're absolutely fascinating. It's sort of autobiographical, but not in a huge, massive volume. So this question asks, what parallels do you identify with your journey? What divergences? Like this, so good. It's so good. I'm not going to show you every single page. I will zoom in on a portion. So the chart on this page says 1 in 3 LGBT adults in the United States live in the South, more than any other region percent of national LGBT adult population living in each region. So here is the regional map. Here is just a beautiful photograph of folks smiling, of joy. Joy. You have to see the joy. The representation, to know you're not alone in what you're going through, to know that other people are going through the same thing is such a powerful, important thing to realize, to come to terms with, to have that shown to you, to have something like this for folks that need it, that need that sort of, maybe you don't have family that is supportive or friends that understand. To find information like this is just so valuable. And that's why this was my purchase this year. Here's the other chart up close. And having factual, visual things for people to look at as well as reading text is another great way to reinforce the information to back it up. And just the color. They're monochromatic photographs, but they're incredibly beautiful. Again, this one is available on Etsy. They do have others. It's just a wonderful, wonderful read. I highly recommend that you pick up and support places and spaces that voice minorities and folks that need their voices heard. That it's just so vital and important that we support each other and we support everyone in their journey. And this is, a way we can do this. So here are the goals of the Black Non-Binary Archive. This is about their press. This whole thing is so beautiful and so well put together. It's thick, it's wonderful, it's just so inclusive. If you like zines, but you're currently on a budget, you are on a limited income, you're doing a low buy or a no buy this year, and you're not purchasing things like this that inspire or motivate or make you think or challenge what you think and help you explore and feel and dream and root for other people, there are free places you can go. You can go to Pinterest, your search engine of your choice, Instagram, sometimes Issue. You can find images, you can find posters, you can find pieces of zines and covers that sort of give you that idea. You don't have to run out and buy everything. You don't have to buy what I show you. I'm just showing you what I own, what I have. Obviously mine are important to me for my reasonings and my life and my journey and my illustration and my art and how I live my life and do my things. But if you have access to the internet, which if you're watching this video, you do, public libraries in the United States, some grocery stores, some parking lots of businesses, you can access the internet. You can go online and you can find images and you can save them. You can save on Instagram, you can save on Pinterest. That's kind of their purpose and reasoning for how they work. And save things that inspire you and motivate you, things you want to come back to, ideas, stories, just even if it's color combinations or shapes or whatever it may be, something that pertains to you personally or something you have no experience in. You can do this on a budget. I highly, highly encourage Pinterest. It's very, very inclusive. They have great models for sketching if you are interested in things like that. But explore, get curious, and see what's out there. I will link the Microcosm Publishing. I will link Brown Recluse, Zine Distro. I will link Etsy and browse around. I have a folder on Etsy of really interesting looking zines if you want to look at those and get color combination ideas. I'll link that too. I hope this video was interesting. I hope you enjoyed this. I have a big tutorial coming up next week and I can't wait for that. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week and I will talk to you later. Bye.